Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue DIY Dollar Tree farmhouse tips and dupes. I found a Shiplap grateful art that was like $52 on Etsy. Obviously it wasn't available, but I'm going to use these two pieces of string art from the Dollar Tree, as well as some white apple barrel craft paint. I feel like I should just marry it. And we're going to use a wall cling, the one that says Be Grateful. These, I just got some images online. The Be Grateful one that we're going to use. But I'll show you how I'm going to do my design process. And we're going to use a black Sharpie. If you don't want to use Be Grateful, we're going to talk about that too. And a scissor. And the scissor we're going to use to remove the string. So you don't really need the scissor if you have a pliers or something. So let me go back and say farmhouse decor, shiplap, barnwood, all of those things are very, very common in farmhouse decor. The Dollar Tree came out with these when they first came out. They were so hard to find. And then I personally found that in the stores that I went to, they had like a second round of them. And then they were just like there a lot. Of course, that's not everywhere. So if you couldn't find them, we're going to go over different ways to, I'm going to show you different techniques that if you can't find these and how you can create the shiplap barn board with just paint. But I will show you on here a simple way to make a sign that is, like I said, that sign was shiplap. It said grateful and it was $52 on Etsy. We're not going to make this for $52. It's going to be about $3 plus paint. But the string on this string art pops out so easily. I'm just taking the joint of my scissor and I'm just prying all of the little nails up. And I'm not taking the time to unstring all the strings. The nails will come up with the strings in there. If you're going to recycle the string, then go ahead and unstring it. Mine, I was going to recycle and then it fell into my coffee. So I had to recycle my coffee. And then I threw the strings in the garbage. And these nails are really tiny, so I can't imagine you'd be able to use them for much else. But if you feel like you could use them for something, go ahead and recycle those as well. Okay? So then I've taken a popsicle stick or just a piece of wood and I'm just burnishing the holes. Basically, I didn't want to sand it because I don't want to take that extra step. But the holes, when you pull out the nails, sometimes the little wood could pop up. So I just took like a popsicle stick and I burnished down the holes. And I've removed the string from both sides. The other thing that I wanted to tell you is if you watched me take out the hanger string, I unknotted it from opposite sides because I'm going to use that again in the end. I'm going to recycle that. So you see it's very easy. I'm just using in the groove of my scissor, in the joint of my scissor. I'm just using that to pry up each one of the nails. And they came up so easily, really, honestly. So I have seen lots of people DIY these on YouTube. There's a lot of tutorials out there. I'm not copying any one person, so I won't tell you like I was inspired by this person. I was inspired by the piece of artwork. But you can always look up other people's tutorials and how they're doing this with their artwork. I'm also using some of the wood filler from the Dollar Tree. I wasn't super crazy about it. It's Elmer's and it should have been good, but I don't know if it just was old at the Dollar Tree or if it was, I don't know. It just didn't work as well as wood filler I'd used in the past. But this is stainable wood filler, even though we're going to paint. I just decided to fill in the two holes that I'm not going to use in the middle. Again, since we're painting this, you don't have to use wood filler. You can actually use like hot glue. Just use hot glue. Get like a old credit card or club card ready. Fill it with hot glue and scrape it across real quick, and then that will work like hole filler if you want. And it's also, you don't have to do that at all. You can just leave it. That's totally up to you as well. But I also forgot to mention the instructions that and the ingredients and the supplies that we're just going to use a little bit of Aleene's tacky glue. You can use wood glue if you want to join these two pieces together. I feel like I keep bringing this popsicle stick back in because I'm actually using this popsicle stick to line up the spaces. These two boards, and I found this with all of the boards like this. These two boards are not the exact same size, but the spaces, the I guess the grooves are all the tops line up and the grooves line up, but the bottoms are off. But that to me wasn't objectionable because again, perfectly imperfect is what looks like Farmhouse to me. So what I did was I used some duct tape. You don't have to use duct tape. You can use Scotch tape. You can use painter's tape, whatever. And I've just used that to help join the back together while the glue dries. There's no point in taking it off of the back because you can just leave it as well. So basically I've just taken like a big piece of tape across the top of the back and a big piece of tape across the bottom of the back, and then a small little piece going back and forth. But what I did first was I lined them up in the front and threw just a little piece of tape down there to keep them from shifting when I turn them over. And then I taped the back. And this is like for extra added support. Plus it helps the glue dry. Okay. And then just peel that tape off the front and we're going to get to painting. So I kind of mentioned it a little bit in yesterday's tutorial about the Jot brand acrylic paint that I had bought. I was really excited to see it, even though it wasn't a great value. I was really excited just to see that they had acrylic paint. It was terrible. I almost left the footage in here so you guys could see it, but I think I might share it on my Instagram. It had lousy coverage. It stunk to high heaven. It almost felt like it was water paint. Like it was weird. But it said acrylic paint right on the front. So I went and switched back to the apple barrel. I basically wiped off all of that paint, went back to the apple barrel, and brushed on it. Now the reason I'm saying that is because that other paint was so weird. It filled in the cracks, and it's what you want to avoid. So what I did was once I wiped off all that other paint, I took my graphite pencil and I went in and cleaned out all the grooves with the pencil point. This does two things, and I'm going to do it again at the end. It not only scoops the paint out, but it also darkens with the gray line from the graphite pen. So you'll see when you do, if you use this paint, when you brush over the spaces, unless you have way too much paint on your brush, the paint won't go in the cracks, which is the point that I was trying to make by telling you about the other lousy paint. So remember, you always want to protect your surface. So these are the 2 for $1 cutting mats from the Dollar Tree. I use them for cutting on, I use them for gluing on, and I use them for painting so that it keeps my surface clean. I also use them to hold the paint, as you notice. So you just want to go over this with 2 coats. And again, perfectly imperfect. You want to have coverage so you can't see the words, but it doesn't have to be like a full white, solid white coverage. You just want to make sure that, again, you can see brush strokes are, this is after a while, it dried a little bit, and I'm going back with the second coat. So brush strokes are good to see. You don't have to worry about the little holes. Don't fill in your little holes with paint, which I'm about to I got paint in that hole. Let me get my pencil and clean it out, and you can't even see it off the camera. I'm so sorry. Then just go back. Try to stay out of the cracks between the boards. And let it dry. I didn't worry about painting the edges because, once again, if you see some old, if you actually go to I don't want to say antique shops, but farm stands and stuff, a lot of times the paint is dripping over the edge, and that's what makes it feel homemade. And that's what, to me, you can go ahead and paint the edges if you want that perfect edge. That's fine. But I'm not into that right now. So let me talk a little bit about the decals that I chose. I decided to go Dollar Tree decals. But I wanted to tell you guys that, there's lots of tutorials on my channel of how to, well, I don't say lots, but there's a few tutorials on my channel on how to transfer words. So you can print something off the computer. You can actually take one of those pictures of an inspiration thing and actually like print it to the size that you need it. And you can actually get the actual inspiration piece words, if that makes sense. We use a graphite rub. You can use, oh my goodness, transfer paper. Any of those techniques will work. So we're going to put this off and let this dry and then come back when it's all dry. And here we are. It's all finished. It's dry to the touch. You want to make sure that it's really dry overnight so that the cling will stick. But if you're going to paint it, that is not 100% necessary. But you definitely want to make sure that it's dry and it doesn't come off as you're using it. So now I'm taking that graphite pencil again, and I've made the lead real long. This is like a reusable Bic mechanical pencil. And I've just gone in all the grooves, darkened the grooves, and cleaned out all the extra paint. So I'm showing you a couple of different options of clings that I had. But we've done this before of how you measure and design of what you're going to do. So there was different things that I could have done. One of the things that I tried to do, and I used to have a fine scissor. I'm not asking anybody about where I can get one. I just, mine's missing amongst the crafting stuff. I used to have a very fine scissor. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to actually cut the cling out of the cracks to look like it was hand painted over the cracks. But then I realized that unless you're looking really close, you cannot tell that it's a cling, is what I'm trying to say. And this one I loved because it actually almost the words. It wasn't like the extra plastic around the words. It was just a little bit extra plastic, but it was like just the words. And I wanted to center grateful, and I wanted to put B off to the side. The inspiration piece just said grateful. So if you wanted to just put grateful, just right there in the middle, that's exactly, you could stop right there. The inspiration piece actually had silver leaves, which this cling comes with silver leaves. So you can go ahead and do that. But I wanted to opt for that other black viney leaves instead. Basically to mimic those leaves, but in black with Sharpie. But I'm trying to show you is how I took my X-Acto knife, the box cutter, and I tried to cut the space out like I was saying. And I showed a little bit here on the bottom of the L, and you could see how close I had to zoom in to it, so you guys could see the little bit of like white above the. It wasn't worth it to me. I just left it. So I wanted to just show you what I was trying to achieve. But I think that once you pull back from it, you cannot even tell that was what I was trying to achieve. It just looks like you can't even tell that it was. Don't bother cutting it. That's all I'm trying to say. And then I decided to add the B part because grateful is a state of mind. When you put be grateful, it is a reminder to have that state of mind. And I think that there are a lot of people in my family, in my world, in my life, in the world, who need to be reminded to be grateful for all the things that they have and not just focus on what they don't. So I'm taking some creative artistic license here with what I'm doing with the leaves, differing from the inspiration piece, but that was what I mentioned in the beginning of the first video, is I'm showing you guys how you can customize each one of these to make your own individual projects, because that's what creating art is all about. Okay? It's not just about copying and duplicating. It's about getting inspired by others to make it your own. All right, so I'm just taking it and making it a little different. I want to show you what the vines look like with open vines, and that's an option as well sometimes. But for this one, I wanted to have the filled in vines. In fact, I think a project we're going to do tomorrow, the next day, is going to have the open vines. So you can see that on other projects as well. But for this one, I just wanted to fill them in. So this is where the big Sharpie comes in. And again, if you were handwriting something, if you were personalizing this with a family member's name or whatever that you were doing, then you could go ahead and use your black Sharpie. This is the fat fake black Sharpie from the Dollar Tree to go ahead and do all of the writing. Like once this is dry, you can see that it's very easy to write on. All right, and then I decided to add the little vine on the bottom just to give it a little bit of balance and a little extra touch. And now we're gonna put the thread back in. So I told you that I left one knot on each side of the string. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from the front to the back with the unknotted side, and we're going to connect these two in the middle, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do that. You can see up close the seam between the two boards still, which again, it's not objectionable to me at all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these strings together and I'm going to tie them right where that seam is, because you know that's going to be the middle. Okay, and it looks like it's not going to be a very long string, but this string does have give. So we're going to knot it, and then we're going to make just a little tiny bow with what's left over. And that's it. As you can see, it does have a little bit of give, but that's everything. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. Bring some shiplap into your house from the Dollar Tree and add some of that farmhouse feel. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. Please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel and promotes the work we're doing. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, take care. God bless. See you next time. Bye.